In the early 1990s, Long Beach was in trouble. The dropout rate was up, the graduation rate was down, and there was no alignment between Long Beach Unified School District, Long Beach City College, and Cal State Long Beach. A large percentage of our students were floundering with little hope of a college education. Then, some of the exceptional people involved in our community stepped forward and started talking solutions. What would it take to get more students ready for college? What would it take for the colleges to embrace our students? As a journey of 1,000,000 miles begins with a single step, educators from all three institutions collaborated on some suggestions. Seamless education was the result.
I knew in the late 80s, early 90s, things were falling apart. There was a huge gang conflict. The Navy was leaving. McDonnell Douglas was threatening to go under. And so Mayor Ernie Kell launching this type of discussion, we all knew it was important.
Essentially what we found is that to be economically successful in Long Beach, we really had to strike out in 4 areas. One being our own image. In other words, how do we market ourselves? Secondly, we had to develop leadership on a continuing basis. Thirdly, we had to have a safe environment, public safety. And fourth, we had to have, quote, a world-class education system. I don't think anybody really knew what that meant at that point in time.
The other thing that happened that was significant at the time, April of '92, the Rodney King riots, which most of the attention was in LA, but Long Beach was devastated by what happened here. And so we all knew things are spinning out of control. So the idea that someone would come forward and say, hey, here are some ideas that we have about how to fix this, how to make it better, how to improve it, we were very much, yeah, let's listen to that.
Because at that time, we were losing 30 to 50,000 jobs because of the naval closure and because of McDonnell Douglas at the time leaving the system. So it was all pointing out how important education is to ensure that you have a strong city and strong local government.
After implementing standards-based education, the achievement gap grew narrower. Along with other reform efforts such as school uniforms, LBUSD students were better prepared for college. At the same time, the colleges increased their efforts to bring LBUSD students onto their campuses. They provided campus visits, scholarships, and guaranteed enrollment that greatly increased the chances of success in college.
If these areas communicate one to the other, it's so much easier. And there's not the acrimony that comes from protecting their territory.
There were several initiatives at that time. For example, one was the Ending Social Promotion, the 3rd grade reading initiative. Another one was under counseling, preparing everyone K-12 up to higher ed, and also standards to ensure that when we teach Algebra 2, for example, that it's truly preparing students for algebra in college and beyond. And so it was a great opportunity to bring all educators together, really for the first time, around these core areas that we were working on to set standards of excellence. And that was a great program that has actually lasted to today.
We stopped blaming each other for failure and talked about what we could do to help each other. And there was this long list of things that everybody wanted these kids to know.
Dave Dowell actually said this. He said, you know what we need? We need to be in the national spotlight. And that's what we put on the tote bags. Our annual Principal for a Day and other activities, we would make tote bags, and the first one was seamless education in the national spotlight, which we weren't.
It took time. It took a great deal of focus. It took a great deal of commitment from the leadership. It took vision. It took persistence from staff to get over the rolling of the eyes, so to speak, or the apprehension about, well, is this really going to work? Does this really have a future? And in time, we started to see month by month, meeting by meeting, the changes occurred.
Judy Seal and I were talking yesterday or day before about the conference, and we were talking about seamless ed and all the national honors that this collaboration has received, and many people consider it to be the best in the country. And Judy said something that was so true. She said, you know what's so good? It's not built on glitz. It's built on the work produced by the people in the collaboration. This is not a public relations mission by the school district, the community college, and the university. It's a group of men and women who all really, I think, work for one educational institution, and we all just happen to work on different campuses. But it's about men and women who come together, roll up their sleeves, and say, how can we best educate the kids in this community, K through graduate school?
It was a long process, just coming up with relationship building, trying to gather that trust among each other. And it was very natural because all of us had worked together in one capacity or another. So that was nice. So a lot of times when people ask us about the Long Beach College Promise and how it came to be, they need to realize that it was really a process from years, not just the day that we started the Seamless Education. We'd all been working together for many years before on different projects.
The leaders at that time brought everybody together and sat our leaders from the school district and the college and the university together and asked them to really think about how they're going to work more closely together to focus on getting more students into the local economy and really helping to rebuild the workforce.
And then all of the planning and hard work began to pay off.
Before Long Beach finally took this groundbreaking step, the only person who ever talked to me about school uniforms was the First Lady. And 6 or 7 times a year, we'd go to Chelsea School and we'd go to this or that event at school, or we'd visit other public schools, and she'd come home and say, you know, if we had a uniform policy, it would make things better in these schools. I heard it over and over and over again, and thanks to you, I have to listen to, I told you so.
We noticed the results right away, to be very honest with you. So, for example, when we started the standards movement, we brought professors together with our teachers and noticed immediate changes in our classrooms and their classrooms. We redesigned the teacher prep programs, immediate changes, because we hire 75% of our teachers from Cal State Long Beach. So, and then fast forward to today, we have seen hundreds of more kids eligible to attend Cal State Long Beach and other UCs. So we're seeing massive improvement in all arenas, and you're seeing fewer kids needing remedial support when they go on to college, and more kids completing getting those degrees in 4 to 6 years. So all the metrics of everything what we're doing have all been going in the right direction, up.
The important thing is that you come ready, and the College Promise has already paid off. We already see twice as many students ready for college math, 3 times as many students ready for college English, just because of the Long Beach Promise.
We're really excited about the future of Long Beach and the future of education in Long Beach. You're going to be hearing a lot about universal preschool. You're going to hear a lot about internships and linked learning. And you'll be hearing a lot about how the city can be a full partner in the Long Beach College Promise.
Seamless education had become the College Promise, and the College Promise had become very successful. Not only are more LBUSD students enrolling in college, but more are flourishing and graduating. The entire community has benefited from the work begun by those few educators who decided to change the world over 20 years ago.
In Long Beach, the Promise has been a national model of how education should work. And it's because of the hard-working faculty, the teachers, the administrators, and certainly the leaders of the institutions.
So when kids tell you, this happened the other day, they said, thank you for providing this opportunity because I got to go to City free for a semester. I had guaranteed admission to Cal State, so they spent 2 years at City, went directly into Cal State, and now they're going to graduate this year in 4.5 years. That's the power of opening the door for students and getting that great degree that will help them do whatever they want to do the rest of their life.
The entire nation is talking about these K through 16 partnerships, getting universities to talk to community colleges, to talk to the K-12 districts, and really looking at this in the way that we've looked at college and career here in Long Beach for many, many years. So what we've been doing is sort of leading the charge where the rest of the nation is going. So that's really exciting.
What I know about working with these educators, it's like working with thoroughbreds. They're so smart and they have such good hearts.
Everyone is involved. And as I've told more than one higher education audience, I've seen the future, and Long Beach is its name, and seamless education is its aim.
The Long Beach College Promise has proven that miracles can take place in education.
The students who come to us from Long Beach Unified School District and then from Long Beach City College have the highest graduation rates of any of our cohorts of students.
That families who have never seen a high school graduate can produce a college graduate, and that a promise made to students will continue producing results for many years to come.
I guess the biggest surprise I would have is how much faster we move today on a quest of a new part of our initiative than we did back then. And I'll give you a great example. The universities and colleges have asked us for our kids to have 4 years of mathematics. So the board adopted earlier this year that kids will have 4 years of mathematics before they graduate. I went back to the university and said, I need a math class for kids who don't want to take calculus. And they've designed a math class that we're going to pilot this summer. That is very fast.
This program is different because it isn't any one person's pet project. This is really owned by the entire community. So sometimes you have a president or superintendent that really wants to do something, and it's, you know, the greatest thing since sliced bread, but nobody else buys into it. In this program, the Long Beach College Promise, I could leave, Jane Connolly could leave, Chris Steinhauser could leave, and the College Promise keeps going because it's owned by the community.
The one thing we found out is that if the 3 heads of the institutions are not involved, it isn't as important to the other people.
It's better and stronger today and has many more components today than it did when we first started. And it has lasted several different leadership changes. So for example, I'm the 2nd superintendent here in Long Beach Unified. Our new president at Cal State is the 3rd president at Cal State Long Beach. Eloy Oakley over at Long Beach City is, I believe, the 3rd or the 4th president since we've all started this. And we're stronger and better today than we were when we started in 1994.
Well, the best thing about College Promise is just motivating the kids to believe that they belong in college.
You're the high school kids. Yeah. We're going to hold a seat for you at Cal State Long Beach. Each and every one of you who is eligible to enroll, you have a spot there.
We can talk about it in the abstract and talk about plans that we have and organizational structures, but when we see the parents and the students, the kids who have grown up through the College Promise, and really see how it's impacted them and how they feel that it's really motivated them to keep going, that's when you get the pleasant surprise, and makes you realize that all the stuff that we're doing around the College Promise is actually impacting people.
The Long Beach College Promise, a dream that became a reality that enables other dreams to come true.